This is Jeff again. We're at 42 Northeast Graham Street. My monitor just ran out of memory. We're going to continue on from where we were going. All right, we just swapped over there a moment ago over to 6-inch clay pipe, and I'm stopping up here at 132 feet. I'm hitting a little bit of an offset. At this distance, I have almost no leverage left to push over something like that. If we were 30 feet in, I'd bounce right over that, no problem. So we should be in city territory at this point, though. So we're gonna go locate while the line drains. All right, just located there. We are out in the roadway. There's a vehicle that's parked over top where I'm locating right now, but I'm picking that signal up. Oh, a full car width. It's like under their driver's side tire. So you're about 5-6 feet off the curb there. What it looks like, though, is that I'm going to go do another locate. I think the clay pipe actually starts on property. This update, I want to say, is probably closer to where the right-of-way is rather than the street curb. And the face of the curb is where city takes responsibility for the line. There's a little stringy item hanging from that joint there. We're going to revisit that here in a second when I go locate. Yes, so we are right at the sidewalk edge. So, and anyway, the clay pipe up to the curb, it functions very nicely. It's very clean. It drains well. This joint right here, when I look at that full circumference of that joint there, and keep in mind, my camera right now is upside down. That's actually the top of the pipe, what you're seeing dangling off that joint. It could be the very beginnings of a root. What I'm not seeing, though, are usually indicative signs of a joint being compromised, which are dirt stains dripping down the sidewalls, earthworms crawling around, things like that. So the best I can do with this right now is to call it a possible root. That right there, the way it's displaying itself, it looks very reminiscent of cobwebs. The other possibility is it's a very small root that's been gunked over. But that's the other end of it, is when you look at the amount of junk that's built up over the top of that little stringy item there, if it is indeed a root, it does not appear to be one that's growing terribly well. But all that stuff put together, that's about the best I'm going to be able to do with that, is call it a possible root. And the clay pipe from that point forward flows very nicely. There's no reason to go messing with that stuff as it sits right now. And as long as that's held up, it may very well hold up for a whole lot longer. Clay pipe has almost an infinite lifespan. The material itself, as long as nothing shocks it or hits it to crack it, its weak point is the pipe joints, where the grout that's in them, it's a type of concrete essentially. Over time, that grout can wear out, and those joints can slowly but surely start to become exposed to the ground. And what tells you the joint is becoming problematic is you'll start to see signs of settling, hydro erosion, where the joints open up, they start to allow dirt and groundwater to flow in, and that causes hydro erosion. It can erode the support out underneath the sewer line. So whenever you have a joint that's open to the ground, you will, often in conjunction with that have settling, which I also don't see there either. So that's not what I'm recommending a repair on. Flow is not being affected by it. And other than being a little stringy item, you can see how many cobwebs we have on the line here. All it takes is for a cobweb to get knocked down and dangle down like that, and just gets gunked over time, and you have something that kind of has an appearance of a small root, but it often is cobwebs. Without any other secondary signs there, dirt streaks going down the sidewall, earthworms crawling around, anything else that tells me that joint's open to the ground, there's just not enough there to verify that's what that is. But it does behoove you to keep an eye on these older lines like this. You are responsible in this part of town from all the way up to the face of the curb. So you still have the span from the sidewalk edge where that begins to the street curb. It's probably about a approximately 8-foot section of pipe, I would say. And that belly we went through, I apologize, I'm talking about the thing in the clay. We went through some standing water there between 93 and 98 feet. It is way the heck out from the house. At 100 feet out, a belly like that, I mean, even up close to the home, it still requires abuse to ever get it to a point of causing a blockage. At 100 feet, if you're blocking and backing up from a belly like that from that far away, it is 100% due to the homeowner. You need to develop quite a blockage to back up 100 feet of sewer pipe. and get all the way back into the home. The head pressure of all that water building up behind the blockage, it's a blockage that you would need to be made out of a whole lot of improper stuff. Wipes, paper towels, things that don't disintegrate and can withstand incredible amounts of pressure. Sorry, I just wrote a note down there on my... We had some more standing water around 60 feet. No, that spot there is very short-lived. It's from only about 59 to 60 feet. And, you know, what I'm going to do is I'll write this up. You know, I might individually write them up on the report, but this line I can't even recommend drain cleaning on. And if I can't recommend you clean the line, I certainly don't recommend you start tearing the entire property to pieces, fixing the belly. The big thing is treat your line properly. Don't put grease, paper towels, wipes, stuff like that down the line. And that is the best thing you can do. That will keep lines that are absolutely falling apart still functioning, let alone a line like this that is intact. You know, you've got some settled spots here, but plastic pipe can settle to an incredible extent without breaking. Whereas your older materials like concrete and things like that, when they start settling, often it means the joints are bad. But if it settles because of bad compaction, there's almost no chance the joints remain intact. Plastic pipe does not have that same problem. As long as everything was put together properly from the get-go, generally hold up just fine. So another spot here with about an inch of standing water in it. The belly from about 59 to 60 feet, that thing's hardly even worth talking about. Had about a 1/16 to a 1/4 inch of water. And actually, you know what? When I reeled the camera back in, I don't know why my camera does this, but it resets the foot counter to a weird spot. So that belly there, I'm not going to go messing with things and re-scope it at this point because the foot markers still line up with my report and everything. This one I'll change though.
Okay, makes sense. Don't worry about the roof.
This belly here runs from about 3 feet to about 7 feet. Anyway, little tiny bit of sediment in the belly, and that is it. There's not even, we don't even have stains on the sidewall nor the top of the pipe. Even a situation where someone abused the thing and got a temporary blockage to happen. So we're now going backwards into the home here.
I was dorking around.
All the pipe from the clean out access to the main, I'm sorry, not to the main, but out into city responsibility. All of it is intact, at least appears to be. You got the one little question mark there in the clay pipe, but very much adequate flow all the way out. And a very clean sewer line. And that's right there is as far as we can go. My camera's trying to divert up a sink drain.
Good job, guys.
Anyhow, all the standing water in the line is too minor, in my opinion, to require repairs, especially in conjunction with the fact there is zero buildup to even recommend cleaning on. That is why I'm not recommending you fix it. Whoever's lived here for this amount of time is doing a great job of keeping the line clean. You want to keep those same habits up. The spot there in the clay pipe, about 121 feet on camera, at least as far as my foot counter is telling me right now. That one there is just too small, not displaying enough evidence of a true root intrusion, in my opinion, to go ahead and recommend a repair on it. Flow and functionality is not being affected, and the joint shows no signs whatsoever of being open to the ground, other than there's just a little stringy thing hanging off of it. Right now, that is looking far more like a cobweb than it is a root intrusion. Sewer line is functioning at this time.